Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Ashley Vinay, and thank you so much for tuning in. I wanted to come on here real briefly and just talk about some dumb stuff that I did in my 20s because I was just thinking about it after seeing that story go viral. But no judgment here, but I'm just gonna put it out there. So one of the dumbest things that I did in my 20s, now that I'm looking back on it, and when I look back on it before, it was just God's grace that something did happen to me for being a fool. I was coming home from a club one night, and I was done up. You know, I love my hair, my makeup. I was looking good that night. I was looking really good. And I was stumbling into my apartment because I was a little bit tipsy. I was stumbling into my apartment. I was fumbling with the keys to my door. And I finally got in, and a guy was coming in behind me, and he was like, he was just coming out of the apartment, and, you know, he was too drunk to drive home. And, you know, he was flirting with me. I was flirting. I was drunk. You know, I was out of my mind. And he was like, I'm too drunk to drive home. Could I please just stay at your house? He was like, I'm a realtor. I'm a professional. You know, my guy is with his girlfriend for the night, and I'm supposed to be going home, but I'm too drunk to drive. Could I please stay in your house, you know, for the night? And I remember it was real late at night, and I know the next day I had to get up and take my dad to the airport. So I told him, well, you could stay for a couple hours, but I got to get right up and take my dad to the airport, so you can't stay here. Like, you're gonna have to get up when I leave. And I'm like, you can't sleep in my bed, you can't sleep in my room, but you can stay here because I don't want you to get into an accident. Like, and I'm saying this like with empathy, like I know you personally. I don't know you. So, but I was drunk and I wasn't thinking straight, and he was fine. The guy was really, really fine. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, he was real fine. So he came to my house. He was dressed really nicely. We got in the apartment, you know. I didn't change my clothes or nothing like that because I think I only had like 4 hours to go to sleep until it was time for me to pick my dad up. So I think I slept in everything. And he did exactly what he said. By the grace of God, he slept on my couch. He was a gentleman. He didn't do anything he wasn't supposed to do. And I'm just like, the next morning when I got up, or the 4 hours later when I got up, I woke him up. He put his shoes back on. He used the bathroom. And I was like, hey, I'm about to leave out. You got to get up. You got to go. And he was like, yeah. But before you go, before I go, I got to get your number. I'm a club promoter, and I would love for you to come hang out with me at some of my events. So I'm going to be texting you or whatever, and you just come hang out with me. I would love to hang out. You're beautiful. I want to get to know you. So I'm like, okay, because, you know, he was like, I'm a realtor. He was professional, and he was fine. So I took his number, and he left. He put his shoes on and he left. And, you know, I'm like, thank God it didn't turn into something bad. But he was a man of his word, and I'm just like, thank God, because that could have been really bad. Something could have happened to me. Could have raped me. Could have killed me in my apartment. Could have robbed me. Just like dumb stuff. Another thing happened. Oh, we never really did anything. We didn't hook up. I did go to 2 of his events and had a lot of fun, but we never, like, it wasn't there. We just kept it cordial on a friendship level. Another thing that I did when I was in my 20s, I think it was after, I want to say I got a divorce. After I got a divorce, I was really, really depressed. I was really, really sad. And I was really down. I was brokenhearted. I was just in a transitional place, and I didn't know what my life was going to be. I didn't know what was the next steps, and I was just a wreck. I was crying like all day, every day. I was a wreck. And I begged my parents to go on vacations with me. Each of them went separately because I was so just in a bad space. So my dad and I, we went to Mexico, and my mom and I went to New Orleans. It was like within the same month. And my mom and I went to New Orleans, and we had such a good time in New Orleans. And I met this guy in New Orleans, and we had got a private car from the airport to our hotel. And the guy was fine. He was fine, y'all. He was fine. Just everything, just fine, okay? So the guy, I was in the car with my mom, and we're talking, we're, you know, having a good time and just chatting, and the guy's talking us up. And the guy starts flirting with me. And, you know, I'm just like thinking, because he was tall, muscular, caramel, just, you know, fine. And I'm thinking, like, I'm short, you know, I'm thick, you know, it just not a correlation. You know, I didn't think that he would be interested in me, you know. And he was just like flirting it up with me, like in front of my mom, to the point where I was like blushing and stuff, because he was like really chatting me up, y'all, and complimenting me. And he gave me his number, and he was like, you know, call me or whatever, and while y'all are here, just call me. And I'm like, okay. I didn't call him while we were there. He was texting me. I didn't call him. I was too busy on Bourbon Street enjoying myself and trying to like just get out of the headspace I was in. So long story short, we were texting back and forward, and he was like, I'll come to Chicago anytime, just let me know. And, you know, I can stay with you, and we can just, you know, we can chill. So my dumb self, I was just like in a really bad headspace. And, you know, he was flirting me up, chatting me up. And I think he was like trying to visit me like 2 weeks later. But I told y'all I went like to Mexico with my dad, maybe like a week or two after that. So we were just texting back and forward, and he was like, let me know when you get back from Mexico, and, you know, I'll come to Chicago and I'll visit you and we can hang out. So I'm like, okay. And mind y'all, I didn't know this man from, you know, a hole in the wall. I didn't know the man. So I'm like, okay, you know, he was constantly texting me like, when can I come? When can I come? And I'm just like, okay, you can come anytime, like, or whatever, when I got back from Mexico. So he booked the flight, and he met me in Chicago. So he was like, he's going to stay in my apartment, and, you know, we're going to chill. So I'm like, okay. We got to my apartment, and I picked him up from the airport, and he was finer. Like, he was finer than I even remembered him. I just looked like, my gosh, this man is fine. Tall, muscular, caramel, just handsome. And so I picked him up from the airport, and we talked a little bit, but it felt like the energy just felt weird. I don't know how to explain it. It just felt weird. And I felt like a child. Like, I don't know, he felt much more mature than I was, and I just felt like a little child, and like around him. I just don't know. It just like, I don't know if y'all ever been around somebody and they're just very, very much like mature, and they very serious in their temperament. And I'm not like that. I'm very silly, very goofy. So it was just real weird. And we hung out or whatever, and I'm thinking, because he told me like he's very successful, he had his own chauffeur company, you know, down in Louisiana. He's successful, you know, he's making all this money, but he's always working. So I'm thinking like, okay, so he's making some money, he's decent or whatever, he's gonna be on, you know, I'm not gonna have to worry about nothing. So he got here, and he wanted to do all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm down for that, but at the same token, I might take you out or something, but I'm not paying for you to. I didn't bring you here to live off me. I brought you here so we could like enjoy each other's company, get to know each other better. And if something happens, it happens. But it was just whack. He wanted me to pay for everything, and I did end up paying for everything. But because I just felt like I don't want to mistreat somebody. If they're all the way away from home, I'm not going to mistreat you. But I certainly just felt taken advantage of. And then the sexual energy. Yes, he was attractive. I was attracted to him. But it just was weird. The way like things just ended up happening. I don't know. It was very weird. It was very like, that's what the expectation was from him. And it was just like, it wasn't what I thought it should have been, like what I needed. Like, some people can be sexy, but not be good at having sex. And, you know, that's all I'm going to say about that. It wasn't what I expected. Not in terms of like size or whatever like that. No, it was fine. But as far as the performance goes, it was like, so we're in our 20s, but you're doing stuff like you're 16. Like, I didn't expect that. So, and then he was just really standoffish. He didn't tell me much about himself. He was texting like the whole time. It was just like, okay, we've been texting all this time back and forward, and this is how it is. It's awkward in real life. When we met in person, it's awkward, and you're on your phone more than you are present with me, and that's a problem for me. So Needless to say, after that experience, I'm like, I will never do that again because it was dangerous. I told all my friends about it, and they told me I was a fool for even entertaining it. And I told all my friends, I gave them all his information. I told them this is where we are. Every time we went someplace, I told them everything. So I said, if something happens to me, this is what happened. He did it. But and I remember when I first met him, I was just like, I don't do stuff like this, because I didn't. I don't do stuff like this often. I don't meet strange men and bring them into my house. So please, we're good. Just please don't kill me and don't hurt me. And he was like, yeah, same here. Don't kill me and hurt me either. But I just put that out there because you just never know. I don't know. I just felt like when I woke up, the next day when I woke up, he was woke before me, and he wasn't looking at me. He was on his phone. But I just felt like he could have killed me at any moment. I didn't feel like he was a killer. I'm just saying, like, I just felt like he could have done something to me. I just did. I just didn't feel like he was like a genuine person, because he was starting to tell me some lies. He said his sister lived in Chicago, and then he said his sister lived in Indiana, and then he said, he had people in Chicago, but then he was trying to like do some drug deals, and I'm like, you can't go downtown doing no drug deals, and I ain't about to be involved in no drug deals. I'm sorry, I can't do that. But he was just, it was just off. Everything about him was just off, and it was a bad decision on my part. And it's like a dumbass thing that I did when I was in my 20s, and I wanted to share that. I did some dumb shit. I told y'all I did some dumb stuff when I was in my 20s. So that's some of the story. So if you guys enjoyed this, let me know. Comment down below and tell me what you guys think. Until our next video, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.